Can you hear me? All right. Hello, welcome. So nice to see you. Welcome what will prove to be the best Ideas Festival session that you have seen. I'm Katie Fitzgerald, and I'm the director of the Aspen Challenge program. And along with myself, I have two other colleagues, Zachary Epps, who's right there, and Kara Menardi, who is already standing there because I prepped her and she's ready. The three of us have the honor of running the Aspen Challenge program. And so we're really grateful to have all of you here to witness a year worth of work all coming together and to witness the incredible work of these young people sitting before you today. The concept of the Aspen Challenge was born when Jackie and Mike Bezos, in their relentless effort to improve this world and make this earth a greater place, created the Bezos Scholars Program. And after that has been proven very successful, all the Bezos Scholars are sitting with us right here today. Woo! And educators. Jackie and Mike had the vision and the passion to want to go bigger. Let's do more. Let's impact more young people. And the Aspen Challenge was born. So I was fortunate enough to be around the table when we were creating this program, and I'm still here today, so something must be going right. We partner with urban school districts. So what we do is we go into different cities around the country, and we actually add a new city every single year. We've just finished our 7th year of the Aspen Challenge program. We launched in Los Angeles, then we moved to Denver, then we went to Washington, D.C., then to Chicago, then Philadelphia, Dallas, Texas, and just most recently we finished our first year in Louisville, Kentucky. So pretty exciting, pretty exciting. The Aspen Challenge essentially provides a platform to elevate youth voice. So although the three of us have the honor of being part of this project, the young people do all the work, and our coaches and our teachers can attest to that too. So we provide a platform where groups of young people, teams of high school students, are challenged to create solutions to societal issues that they face that, quite frankly, we haven't solved yet. Today, you're going to hear presentations around mental health. I think we've learned a lot about that at the Ideas Festival. You're going to hear from a youth perspective the importance and how they would tackle that issue. Immigration, and how do we welcome our immigrants into this country and make our communities safer and brighter. And then knowing your rights, the Constitution, civic power, civic engagement. You're going to hear about that. We go into these cities and work with focus groups of young people to understand what they want to talk about. We actually do not presume that we know what young people want to be discussing and solving for. So these are topics that our young people told us they want to solve, and then today you're going to see how they solved it. So it's a pretty incredible opportunity that we have before us today. They follow an 8-week program. So also what you're going to see today is something that these teams of high school students have done in 8 weeks. They started these projects and ignited everything they're going to present to you today in 8 weeks. So keep that in mind as you're hearing what they talk to you about. It kind of blows all of us away every year about the creativity and the originality that these teams come up with. It's always new, it's always different, it's always diverse. So I'm really excited about that. The winning teams, the winning prize for the Aspen Challenge program in all of these cities is to be here today and to present to you. So they come to Aspen and they attend the Aspen Ideas Festival, just like all of us as presenters and participants, but they also experience the Aspen Way. So we've had a little mind, body, spirit connection. We took them to the top of the mountain. We're going to go whitewater rafting. So really, it's a true Aspen experience that we get to invite all these amazing, amazing young people to be a part of. We could not do this, this is Jackie and Mike's favorite part, without the passion and the vision and the support of the Bezos Family Foundation. This is a partnership between two organizations, the Aspen Institute and the Bezos Family Foundation. Molly Penke, Chris Plute, Val, they're all here, and they all support our work pretty much in lockstep, in tandem the whole way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then I would also like to recognize a couple other groups because the Aspen Institute and the Bezos Family Foundation, we go into communities because that's what we feel is an important way to engage communities. But we don't go into communities without the communities welcoming us with open arms. It's really important that the community embraces us and wants us there. So Tara and Joe from JCPS are sitting here in the audience right now. Will you please stand? These have been our champions within the school district that have really been side by side with us, making all of this happen. This is a lot of work. It's very intense, so thank you very much. There's another group I'd like to recognize from the Louisville community. We have really truly felt the love in Louisville. We've only been there a year. The CENS Foundation and the Jones family, they're here today. And I started talking to this family last year at the Ideas Festival. The minute they heard that we were coming to Louisville, they completely embraced us and said, what can we do to help? So thank you, and you're here today, a year later. Thank you, thank you. So what I'm going to do next is cue a video. We're actually going to show a video of the Aspen Challenge experience in Louisville last year. This will summarize everything that I can't spit out in words right now. And then after that, my colleague Zachary is going to come up, and we are going to start our presentations. Thank you. Welcome.
Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated. We the one. We the one. Sure they doubt, man.
In this room for a reason, and it's not just to complete an 8-week challenge. There is something in you that is destined to do great, great things.
I was so inspired when I learned about the Aspen Challenge years ago in mobilizing students from across the country to accept these challenges and come up with creative solutions to our most urgent national problems. I think is one of the most galvanizing educational initiatives in America.
The Aspen Challenge is a blueprint for what we would like to see kids doing more often, which is solving problems, being critical thinkers, being innovative in their solutions, and being leaders in their school.
The most underutilized resource in our community are the brains of our young people. And what it does for me is it affirms, again, why we need to continue to invest into the minds of our young people.
Giving these kids an opportunity and a platform to come up with solutions to these pressing problems. And we're not just giving you a pat on the back, we're literally giving you resources to help us come up with ideas and solutions to these problems that affect all of us. I think that's very powerful.
Coming here and realizing that even though it was so much, I have tangible things I can put down on paper and say I did and present and talk to people about is incredibly refreshing.
This is one of the first times they've worked on a very real-world major project. We counted. They've spent over 100 hours on this as a team. I can't even imagine how much time they spent on it individually.
They've had excellent practice now interacting with lawmakers, interacting with politicians, interacting with other people in our community. By the end of the last 8 weeks, I think the kids were really, really proud of what they had done.
The Aspen Challenge did more to supply me with a voice. It supplied me with a platform and a great idea. It was like a Kickstarter, kind of kicked us up the mountain, and now we're going up ourselves.
My hope for the Aspen Challenge and its impact on Louisville is that we as a city recognize what is happening here, that this has catalyzed a new process of youth engagement, that we are able to have an ongoing problem-solving machine that the Aspen Challenge has provided a framework to get us started with.
It's a great learning experience. It lets you know what you can do, and it really lets you know who you are and opens your eyes to what's out there in the world.
Too often in the traditional school setting, the teacher is the keeper of all knowledge and the teacher is the sage on the stage. But the Aspen Challenge has allowed our teachers to relinquish some of their authority in the classroom to create learning experiences for the students to have agency and voice and choice in the learning.
I think that oftentimes some students can kind of exist within their own head and they might have great ideas, but they feel like they don't have a platform to let those out. And I think we really empowered kids and just gave them confidence and said, you can do it. I mean, I think that's what so much of the Aspen Challenge has been to this point, and they've done it, they did it.
One of the many things that I wanted to take away is that there are a lot of people out there that are rooting for them, that they can be the next mentors or the next supporters of others that are in need as they move forward in their lives.
Winners, going to Aspen, DuPont Manual High School, Central High School, Jeffersontown!
What I saw after, when they were announced winner, was something that I'll never forget in my life. I saw them talking to their parents afterwards in Spanish, "Mom, we did it." One young lady said, "Now I see what I can do." The kids are on fire for life.
I feel like this changed me in a way that school couldn't change me or college didn't change me.
It taught us persistence and it taught us dedication. And I think that that's really going to be something that I can use in my everyday life. And it's going to be something that I'm going to take with me.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for anything that's thrown at me. These 8 weeks have been something that I've never experienced before. I feel like I can do anything.
We're going to Aspen!
I'm engaged. I'm inspired.
I'm ready to lead.
What a time to be alive, because we get to engage some of the most phenomenal, genius, smart, amazing young people around the country. And as Katie mentioned, this is launched in a new city every year. And so before I introduce our first team of our session today, I'd be remiss if we didn't recognize a few more folks. And the first is Natasha Carrizosa. When you heard, yes. When you heard that, yay! That was Natty, but she's played such a critical role in inspiring us, all of us, to do what we do every day. And the next are a group of individuals where the teams that you see today would not be here if it weren't for them. And the sustainability of the projects is one component of the Aspen Challenge, but this work can be scaled in a way that is unprecedented through our educators. And their challenge is to increase student agency throughout every classroom that they teach. And so please join me, and I want you all to stand, please join me in thanking our educators for the role that they play in this process. Please wave your hands so we can know who you are. All right, now this first team that we'll see today hails from Dallas, Texas. And when I mention phenomenal, amazing, they really inspire me in very real ways. And I've shared that with them throughout this process. And so Justin F. Kimball, who took on Eric Liu's challenge to create civic power in their community, is now going to take the stage and amaze us. So welcome, Justin F. Kimball.
My name is Kamisha Price.
I am Susana Parra. My name is Jacqueline Castillo. I am Zaira Lozano.
My name is Kiana Johnson.
I am Yuriko Herrada.
My name is Jose Alvarez.
I am Alejandro Fuerte.
And we are Knights Empowering.
Now, let's take a trip to our city. As you can see, there's big text with a welcome. Dallas is the third largest city in our state. The Dallas Arts District is the largest urban arts district in the United States. Dallas is the fourth largest metro area in the country with more than 1 million people. Our population has grown from 132,000 from 2017 to 2018, marking a 1.8%. And lastly, the biggest and best state fair in the United States is the Texas State Fair, with over 2.25 million visitors each year. That's why everything is big in Texas.
Our agenda of today will consist of our challenge, our school, who we are, areas of shortage and areas affected by the shortage, our solution, our nice happy hour, our key action steps, and our solution sustainability. Students are failing. Our teachers are leaving, and our parents are complaining. This is why we chose Eric Liu's challenge, practicing civic power in our community and school. We felt his challenge impacted us the most and will create a solution to the problem we face in Dallas ISD district and also public schools nationwide. And what is this problem? We lack certified teachers in our classrooms across the nation, and also retaining those good teachers that we already have.
Our school, which is our community, we have 1,401 students and 85 teachers. However, our core classes in math has 7 out of 10 math teachers and 9 out of 10 science teachers. As you can see, we're not the only ones reporting teacher shortage. There are 31 states in the US that are dealing at least 82,000 positions underqualified, plus 5,000 of lack of no teachers. Territories such as Puerto Rico and District of Columbia have also encountered a major rise of teacher vacancies in core classes, special education, and foreign languages. Our teacher enrollment has dropped from 691,000 to 451,000 in the year of 2009 to 2016. Now, let's look on teacher turnover. In Dallas ISD, our school district has lost as many as 20% of teachers in 2018. Our Garland ISD, our neighbor, has 55 new job openings versus Dallas ISD has 368 new job openings. Ouch. In Texas, nearly 1 in 3 states call it quits before reaching their 6th school year. The teacher turnover rate has dropped to 31.3% in 2018. And lastly, in the United States, the Learning Institute policy has reports that each year, about 8% of the teachers pack up their desk and leave until another career option. Now, here are the 5 top states of teacher turnover, which is Arizona, 24%, New Mexico, 23%, Louisiana, Texas, and Nevada.
And I'm actually a byproduct of this because in my freshman year, I had no algebra teacher for the whole year. And then at the end of the year, I had to take a major state test, which dictated whether I was able to pass on to my sophomore year. And luckily, I was able to pass my test. But for any of you in the audience who have children, think about your child. What if they were in my position? What if they had no teacher for a core class for the whole year and then had to take a major test that dictated whether they were able to pass on to the next year? Imagine their confidence as soon as they sat down to take their test.
And that is his testimony on not having a teacher. I, on the other hand, am coming from a perspective where my teacher left midway through the first semester. In my junior year, I had to take a state test that is part of U.S. history. She left, and many of my peers, including myself, had pressure on our shoulders to try and pass this test. Luckily, we were able to pass with flying colors. Think about it this way. You're having a business project, and the project manager leaves midway through the project, causing everyone to fall behind schedule. That's exactly how students feel when their teacher leaves midway through the year or has no teacher at all. This is why we created Knights Empowering. We're here to promote student agency through student advocacy.
From our research, these are the top teacher shortage areas, and these are the top percentages that we found. 84% special education, vacant. 51% foreign languages, vacant. 75% science, vacant. And 78% math, vacant. Can you believe this? These are high numbers and very unsatisfactory. Many students are being affected academically by open teacher shortage.
Now, here are areas affected by teacher shortage. 1, confidence. 2, state tests. 3, SAT and SAT tests. 4, school credits. And 5, college readiness. I personally failed my English 1-star test without having a certified teacher. I was penalized and I had to suffer by going to summer school. How would you feel if your child had to spend half of their summer in summer school? But eventually, with the help of an English 1 teacher, I passed my English 1-star test. Now, here is a professionalized teacher teaching his class, while here is us stressed with no teacher.
For our solution, we chose to use technology. We used social media, and we also created some social events. You can access these by going to our Screencastify, Google Classroom, our email, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
As a part of our solution, we want to ensure our classmates still learned in spite of not having a teacher. My team and I discovered the hidden gem known as Screencastify. Screencastify is a website that allows you to record yourself from your desktop, add notes, and editing to videos. We paired our teachers, Screencastify, and Google Classroom to create a virtual classroom for these students. Our teachers posted assignments, lessons, and any tips they had on any subject they knew. Any student and teacher could access this, and we made sure our students still learned and that help they needed even though they did not have a teacher.
In order to retain certified teachers we already have, we came up with the Nights Happy Hour. Our community fair consists of students, teachers, and administrators that came together with ideas to enhance a better learning environment.
Google Classroom is a website where teachers can upload assignments and projects for students who don't have a certified teacher to access.
So here are some key action steps that followed. Our teachers uploaded assignments onto Google Classroom. We had students doing our Nice Empowering Club. We also have our Nice Happy Hour quarterly, where our principal actually requested this so we can discuss any new changes and policies that we can make around our school to make it a better place to learn. And we gathered program effectiveness, we gathered feedback to make sure our program was effective.
In order to achieve our solution sustainability, we created the Nights Empowering Club to show appreciation and retain our teachers, which we have full support from our school's principal. We are going to have monthly fundraisers to support our teachers through monthly gatherings, classroom cleanups, Nights Happy Hour annual fair, Students and Teachers Banquet, and Christmas gift exchange.
We put the K&P Club into action throughout the Teacher Appreciation Week by providing teachers with breakfast to show them that we truly appreciate their hard work and dedication.
In the following year, we will have the K&P Coffee Stop. This is where we will provide our teachers coffee every day to appreciate the love, dedication, and adoration they have for us. Famous words from Brad Henry: a good teacher can inspire hope, ignite imagination, and instill a love for learning.
And with that, remember to stay connected. You can visit our website to stay kept up with what we're doing. You can contact us by our Gmail, and you can visit our social medias. Feel free to take a picture. And, excuse me, and if any of you in the audience with your children have gone through a teacher shortage or have been affected by it in any way possible, be sure to join our Google Classroom so that they can regain that critical knowledge that they've lacked. Thank you for your time.
All right, so the bar's set high, right? And it only increases with the following teams. And I want to make a note that it's not only, they're in part here, not only because of the ideas that they came up with, the action that they were able to take again in 8 weeks, but also the topic, right? Not just creating civic power, but around a topic that young people aren't talking about in Dallas and around our country. So let's another round of applause for Kimball for simply taking this on. And the next team, I feel like I have a special connection with all of these teams because I'm with them through this journey throughout the 8 weeks and year for the coaches. But this next team, I want to share, we have a midway visit with all of our schools throughout the cities. And I came to Jeffersontown and I met with a group of students and they were like, okay, this is what we want to do. We're halfway through. We really, we've learned from some mistakes, but we rearranged our work plan and we're going to get this done. And they actually did. And I'm so proud of the opportunity I have to simply introduce Jeffersontown High School, hailing from Louisville, Kentucky.
My name is Anonymous, and every day I look in the mirror and hate the person that I see.
My name is Anonymous, and I want to end it all.
My name is Anonymous, and I live in worry and fear.
My name is Anonymous, and my past haunts me.
My name is Anonymous, and I struggle with instability.
My name is Anonymous, and in my eyes, the world makes no sense.
My name is Anonymous, and I feel like I have to be in control or bad things happen.
We are from Louisville, Kentucky. The same Kentucky where suicide is the second leading cause of death of young adults aged 10 to 34.
The same Kentucky where 1 in 7 high school students and 1 in 5 middle school students have considered suicide within a 12-month period.
In 2018, America's Health Rankings did a study that revealed that Kentuckians aged 15 through 24, there were over 15 deaths caused by intentional self-harm per 100,000 people. The national rate is 13.
Therapy sessions can cost anywhere from $75 to $150 per session. 1 in 5 Americans experiencing a mental health condition don't have access to the resources they need to get help. It's because of this Kentucky's ranked 31st in the country out of how much access to mental health care its students have.
These are all real stats that are happening every single day in our schools in Kentucky. We have all been affected by some type of mental illness. So when Janelle Nirenberg presented us with this challenge about mental health and creating a safe space to basically, talk about and express yourself and to reduce the stigma about mental health, we knew that this challenge was made for us.
So we hit the ground running and brainstormed ideas on how we should approach this. So we started giving out ideas and started planning, but we couldn't think of anything. Then we thought to ourselves, we're only 8 of over 1,000 people in our school.
So we went straight to the people that mattered the most, the students. We created a survey consisting of 5 questions, all pertaining to how our school addresses mental health and how the students feel about their own mental health. And the results were shocking. Out of the 235 student surveys returned back to us, 71 students feel as though they have less than 3 people to confide in when something is bothering them or when they're going through a tough time. When asked, how well do you think our school addresses mental health? On a scale of 1 to 5, almost half gave it a ranking of less than 3.
These results just proved even more that we needed to change something. We as students were tired of watching the same video every year of a dude with a flip phone telling us that suicide wasn't the answer. I mean, what student in 2019 is going to listen to a guy with a Nokia and played out hair? We needed something new, something that students could access at any point at every day of the year. So after many sleepless nights and much deliberation, we came out with the perfect solution, a podcast.
The podcast was not only a way to reach out to the school, it was also a way to reach out to the whole world to let them know that they weren't the only ones feeling the way that they were feeling. So coming up with the podcast, we had to know how this was going to work. So the first step we automatically knew was advertising. We created many social media platforms and a website, not only to get the word out, but to also inform people that they can direct message us and apply for like a pre-interview. And we received an overwhelming response from students wanting to be on the podcast.
The pre-interview is the second step of the process. Students meet with a member of our team and they tell their story. We just want them to talk about whatever they feel they need to get off of their chest at that point. We do this so that the student that we are interviewing during the podcast doesn't say something that catches us off guard or say something that needs to be handled immediately and privately. For their own safety, all pods are now anonymous. During this process, we tell the interviewee that because our coaches are mandatory reporters, it makes us mandatory reporters. If they say something mentioning wanting to hurt themselves or others, or they mention that they are being presently harmed by someone else, we are required to report it to CPS or the corresponding authorities.
The third step is the actual recording of the podcast. Our entire team, or as many of us as possible, all come together around the student we are interviewing, around a microphone, and we listen to the story that the student previously told in the pre-interview. After they've told their story, we ask them questions to get a deeper understanding of what they're going through and how they're dealing with it. Our podcast has released 13 episodes for Season 1, and Season 2 will begin at the beginning of next school year.
With these 3 steps, we create an episode of the umbrella of no judgment. The name actually comes from one of our coaches who shared a story with us about how her and her best friend made it a tradition in their friendship. When they wanted to get something off their chest, they would open the umbrella of no judgment.
We thought that this was the perfect name for our podcast because that's exactly what we were doing for the people. They're coming to us, talking about everything that's going on in their life, their deepest, darkest secrets, just so they don't have the fear of being judged. On our podcast, we discuss things like suicide, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and we also discuss the effects of social media, toxic relationships, and abusive households.
Since we started this podcast, there has been an increased topic of mental health in the classrooms and in the day-to-day conversations between our peers. Oftentimes, we walk through the halls and overhear discussions about the various topics that we've discussed in our podcast. The students are starting to realize that mental illness is not limited to a certain type of person, thus reducing the stigma around mental health in our school. At this point in time, the Umbrella of No Judgment has over 1,200 plays and can be found on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts. To find our podcast, search for the Umbrella of No Judgment.
But this is not it for us. While the podcast is a big thing of what we're doing, we also have a bunch of smaller projects that we're bringing to the table. We started affirmation boards at our school with handwritten sticky notes on them that we post up and kind of give the students a words of encouragement. We as teenagers know that sometimes we feel as though the world is ending, it's crashing down on us, and there's nothing that we can do about it. So we figured that if we put these positive sticky notes up, that we can kind of give students a positive reinforcement and bring some brightness into their day. We post about 250 sticky notes around the school, and we kind of update them about twice a week, so that just goes to show how much the students actually appreciate the words of encouragement.
Along with the affirmation boards, we also decided to paint the bathrooms. We as students know that the bathrooms can be a very negative place. So we decided that we could take the more institutionalized look around it and add color and positive words for a dose of encouragement and motivation.
We are really pushing self-love and a positive mentality through what we are doing because we know that this kind of thing truly affects people's lives and the way that they view the world. That's why the affirmation bracelets that we have been such a popular thing at our school. It gives students and staff an opportunity to send a private positive message to anyone in the school with a bracelet that says, "You are enough." It's a physical reminder of how great and important they are. We've seen the bracelets not only on students, but on staff as well, sharing our message of self-love.
These are just the things we've accomplished since February, but this is definitely not it for Open Mind. At the beginning of the upcoming school year, we are hosting a professional development session for teachers to come to and be trained on how we think suicide prevention should be taught.
It has been brought to our attention that some students feel as though teachers don't really care about suicide prevention. Even though they don't mean to, some teachers approach suicide prevention and mental illness as a burden. So imagine that if teachers approach it this way, then students won't feel comfortable enough to approach a teacher to talk to them when something's going on.
We are also creating a mindfulness room, which is where students can go whenever they're feeling overwhelmed or just need a mental break. In the mindfulness room, there's going to be a no-phone zone with comfy furniture and brain-stimulating activities. We have a bunch of support from our staff because teachers have already volunteered to give up their planning periods to monitor what we are going to call the room.
We want to thank the staff and student body at our school for supporting us since day one of this journey. Our parents for giving us the best advice and being there every single step of the way. The Aspen Institute for bringing the Aspen Challenge to Louisville and allowing us to have a base for the amazing things that we're doing. We're excited to meet and further discuss with you all.
My name is Magdala. My name is Jordan.
My name is Miguel.
My name is Jessica. My name is Maureen. My name is Haven.
And I'm Layla, and we are
Open Mind.
Real quick, I just wanted to shout out our other member, Zach Fennell, who couldn't make it because he's in Europe. So, but he was a huge contribution. So thank you, Zach.
Awesome. Let's give another round of applause for Jeffersontown. Now, one of the first things I did when we learned we were going to Louisville is practice how to say Louisville. And when I got there, they were like, oh, you say it quite nice. So that was a proud moment for myself. And the next team that we're going to hear from is Central Magnet High School. I could go on and on. You saw a coach from Central in the video and a couple of their students. Just a small taste of the potential that was activated throughout this process. So please join me in welcoming Central High School C4HS.
We the people, in order to form a more perfect community, present
C4HS. Before you stands a group of students from Central High School in Louisville, Kentucky. We are C4HS. That stands for Creating Constitutional Conversations in Our Community.
I'm going to tell you more about our city. Louisville is a diverse population that is a diverse population of roughly 1 million people. We are home to the 6th largest Cuban population in the country. We do have a long history of racial division, which is the cause of some of our crimes today. With all this being said, our city is just more than Louisville sluggers, horse riding, and bourbon.
Louisville Central High School opened in 1873 and was the only public high school that African Americans could attend until 1956. This is the year that Louisville Public Schools desegregated. Since then, Central High School has had no home district and has accepted students throughout the Jefferson County public school system. Today, Central High School is a premier magnet school in which students have to apply to get into. It has 1,110 students, 92% are minorities, and 84% are expected to graduate.
Everybody know that Muhammad Ali was known as the greatest boxer of all time and that he was also a civil rights leader. But everybody doesn't know that he graduated from Central High School in 1960. He also inspired Central's vision statement, which is relentlessly continuing our tradition of leaders of positive social change.
We chose to take on Jeffrey Rosen's challenge, which was to foster civic participation and create constitutional conversations within our community with discussions on things such as the First Amendment and the Second Amendment.
We chose this challenge to help foster connections between different groups in our community. We wanted to start conversations about the things that affect everyone in different ways. We wanted to create a space that is open for people to gain and also to give knowledge. We also wanted to get people involved with the everyday things that can change their trajectory. African Americans make up 20% of the driving population, but account for 33% of traffic stops and 57% of all searches. This is important to us because the majority of our school are African American youth.
Did you know that 74% of Americans can't name the 3 branches of government? Did you also know that 53% of Americans don't know that illegal immigrants have rights when they come into the country? Now, everybody knows about the Miranda rights and the Miranda case, but there are so many more documented cases that are not as well known, but still as important, like Terry versus Ohio and Arizona versus Gantt. Talking about these cases has allowed us to showcase and realize just how far we have come as a country and still how far we need to go as a country. We have learned from these cases what rights we have, what rights we can and can't do during a traffic stop and during police encounters.
In choosing this challenge, we aim to inform community members about their constitutional rights, reduce the number of negative interactions between community members and law enforcement, and to see a lasting positive change in the relationship between the two.
Our achievements. Our first forum, we discussed Miranda rights and traffic stops. 44 people attended, such as students, parents, and community members. Our attendees gain knowledge on their basic rights when it comes to traffic stops and encounters with police. We also built partnerships within our school and community with our English department, Black Student Union, and Louisville's Urban League.
Before the forum, we asked people to rate their current knowledge about the Miranda rights. 1/3 of people said that they was either completely informed or mostly informed about the topic. After the meeting, this number jumped to more than 3/4 of people saying that they was either completely informed or mostly informed. This would help reduce the negative or positive. This will help reduce the negative or potentially violent interactions between law enforcement and the community.
So we knew sustainability was a big part of the Aspen Challenge. So our group decided to tackle this in 4 main ways. Our first was to hold a forum open to the public regardless of age. We had students and teachers and faculty able to go. Our second was we had the team go and collaborate with the English department so we could implement this topic into the English lesson plan for next year and for years to come. Our third solution was to talk with the law magnet to better spread the constitutional knowledge to students around Central High School. And our last and final solution was to create a sort of trivia app to keep students' minds sharp and make learning the Constitution fun and easy for everyone. We also have a short video that we're going to play of our work. So this video basically shows the payoff of all of our work over the 8 weeks. So this was us setting up everything, making sure the meeting was going to go smooth, and we had everything organized. We had up to 44 people attend the meeting. It was a nice mix of students and community members that showed out. We had a decent turnout. It was a nice mix of everybody. We even got catered for free by Bourbon Raw. We started off by briefing everyone what we were going to do in the meeting and what it was about. Our first speaker was Reverend Jeffrey Ellis, who was a Black activist and preacher. We made sure the audience understood what the speaker was talking about and let them ask questions to the speaker on things they did not understand. We also had a second speaker, Sergeant Corey Robertson, who works for the Louisville Metro Police Department. When the meeting was coming to an end, we opened the floor to a group discussion to participate more audience interaction. I'm Craig Wright.
I'm Yvonne Nejembre.
I'm Kayana Hayden.
I'm Chris Pryor.
I'm Khalida Rahim.
I'm Jesse Ford.
I'm Devin Williams, and we are
C4HS.
Let's keep it going, keep it going.
Great job, guys.
All right, so we have one more team remaining. And again, we have the one and only team from Dallas here today and 3 teams from Louisville, but up to 20 schools in each city chose their own challenge, submitted a work plan, and then we talk about an 8-week process, but really they took action in about 4 to 6 weeks. And I want to comment, before the next team takes the stage, I want to comment on when they submitted their work plan. And it was so bold, so ambitious, so expansive that I said, wait. Is this their actual idea? Do they want to do, is this what they're actually going to do? And then 8 weeks later, I was amazed at what they put together all a month through their own ingenuity. And so please welcome to the stage DuPont Manual High School, also from Louisville, Kentucky.
It's a weird time to be growing up in America. Before you stand 8 16-year-olds who are required to make sense of the world around us on a daily basis. We thought we had it figured out. Our parents, teachers, and mentors made sure we learned how to work together, share, and keep others in mind when making decisions for ourselves. I mean, you weren't really allowed to go from kindergarten to first grade until you had those skills down.
But today, many of those early lessons taught and learned are being ignored at those levels of our society that should model good behavior. Working together, our Congress seems to be more interested in drawing party lines in the sand than collaborating for the greater good. Sharing, keeping others in mind, the modern American dream seems to encourage the pursuit of personal happiness without considering those who might be left behind along the way. Always consider yourself. Take advantage of those rights that you have that others might not. In essence, we are being told to embrace our privilege.
Thankfully, we are from Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville is a progressively minded city that collectively aims to embody the good behavior that differentiates our country from other countries around the world. Often considered the southernmost northern city or the northernmost southern town, Louisville thrives on skirting definitions and labels. And while our local residents know how special our local culture is, Louisville is still an unknown to many outsiders.
Louisville was so lucky to be chosen as the host city for the Aspen Institute's annual competition, the Aspen Challenge. For the 8-week competition, asking students to develop solutions to local problems to create a better, more equitable Louisville, our team from DuPont Manual High School chose Wajaha Ali's Challenge to help integrate and celebrate Louisville's immigrant community.
While our city recognizes the importance of our cultural past, as seen in our neighborhood names, including Germantown, Irish Hill, and Paristown Point, our team and generation also recognize the value in ensuring that Louisville's cultural future, a future that includes Cuban, African, and Asian communities, is rich with supported diversity. Our Aspen team wanted to assist Louisville's immigrant and refugee populations and embrace others' struggles rather than focusing on what we have and deserve.
Choosing Wajaha Ali's Challenge seemed like a no-brainer. As a result of our city's efforts towards inclusivity, Louisville has seen a tremendous spike in immigrant and refugee populations. Our state ranks 7th in the nation in refugee resettlement, experiencing a 450% increase over the last decade. Louisville specifically resettles nearly 4 times the number of refugees as the 2nd-ranking city in our state.
Over 80% of Louisville children are educated by Jefferson County Public Schools, the 29th largest school district in the United States. The school district serves 100,000 students that speak 149 different languages. Jefferson County's annual increase of immigrant and refugee populations is 10%, and many of these families served live at or below the poverty line.
With such a large at-risk population desperate for support, we figured creating a program that could meet the needs and challenges of most immigrants and refugees would go a long way. But after doing some research, we had a lot to learn. We knew that many immigrants and refugees face challenges transitioning into their new lives into Louisville, but we didn't know which of these challenges were the most pressing.
Early in our process, we reached out to Kentucky Refugee Ministries, an organization advocating for and providing resettlement services for refugees in Louisville, and spoke with their staff and volunteers. We wanted expert insight into what challenges most impede their clients' lives. After a lot of discussion, we found that free, affordable, and reliable transportation is a constant obstacle in community entry.
Our team then went and found national research to back up Kentucky Refugee Ministries' insights. In their recent study, Living in America, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation asserts that transportation is indeed a major issue, backed by the Global Citizen, who also deems transportation as one of the 7 major problems immigrants and refugees face. From affordability to legal driving barriers to inefficient public transportation, immigrants and refugees are off the roads and isolated from those communities that they are trying to be a part of. After researching and understanding these problems, we now knew how we wanted to help, and Driversity was born.
At Driversity, we are driven to welcome, nurture, and support immigrants and refugees new to the community by providing ride services at no cost. As our neighbors build new lives for themselves, often the toughest challenge is getting from point A to point B. We aim to point families in directions of positivity by celebrating their presence in Louisville and supporting their journeys along the way.
Driversity is proud to announce a program that provides free ride service to incoming immigrants and refugees as they establish themselves in their new community. We partner with Kentucky Refugee Ministries and local businesses. We developed a website and app service. So now, immigrants and refugees can use free Uber ride service when in need of safe and reliable transportation. At Driversity, we targeted infrastructures that were already in place and connected them through technology, education, and fundraising.
The diversity platform allows for a simpler user experience, which is very important to those immigrants and refugees still new to the English language. We designed the app so that when a user logs in, it links directly with Uber and waives all ride fees. If passengers know exactly where they're traveling, great. But if they're unsure of their final destination, we designed the app so that users don't have to remember the addresses of their school, business, doctor's office, etc., as this is often difficult for people new to a community. Each button will lead to an Uber ride with a predefined pickup and drop-off location. The user is then ready to claim a free ride.
But before our app could go into use, we had to develop a source of money. We spent a great deal of time reaching out to potential partners within our community. Once we started reaching out to businesses, we found that the organizations with immigrant and refugee roots were the most interested in helping develop a founding foundation for our program. They really loved our idea.
Particularly, a local Cuban restaurant and Ugandan dessert bakery were empathetic toward our cause, which prompted their financial support in the startup of our organization. Through donations and fundraising efforts, Diversity was able to raise the initial capital needed to start providing rides to immigrants and refugees.
Our first fundraisers were very successful, but we knew we couldn't solely rely on them. Recognizing this issue, we hope to show our proof of concept to an established ride service, such as Uber or Lyft, to create a future partnership. We want ride service customers in our community to have the ability to donate to Diversity after their rides. This money would then be transferred into the account that currently funds Diversity rides, being managed by our pilot client, Kentucky Refugee Ministries.
For our Pilot Ride 1 test, the Kentucky Refugee Ministries introduced us to Glory, a high school senior who immigrated here from the Democratic Republic of the Congo and was born in Tanzania. After demonstrating our app to Glory, we had the opportunity to present him and drive him for a free and reliable ride home. With 10 people in his family and just one car, he often faces difficulties when unexpected circumstances arise. A service like ours helps immigrants and refugees, just like Glory, to not only become integrated into their community, but to feel like their new communities are invested in their comfort and success.
Your family was big earlier. How big?
Yeah, like 10.
10, like including your parents or just kids?
My parents.
We are Diversity. We look forward to meeting with everyone throughout the remainder of the festival, especially those who are willing to give us feedback or consider connecting us with people that could help us further our mission. Thank you so much for your time.
And you may wonder how that app was created. That was developed by the students. A student, actually, Sharia. So they're serious. If you know people at Uber, yes. Awesome. And so, oh no, just when I was gonna point out one of our challengers who helped us inspire, I think, Jeff, are you still there? Jeff Rosen was in the building tonight. I'm not sure if Central knew, but I wanted to thank him and all the challengers for the inspiration they provided for the students. So if he's walking out, let's give him a hand clap. Jeff, thank you. All right, again, that's just 4 schools across 2 cities, and there's much more work that is being done in those cities even today. And so, by a show of hands, at the end of this, whose belief in youth has increased at all? Okay, put your hands down. By a show of hands, whose belief in the possibilities of young people today, not after they graduate college or law school and whatever other degrees they attain, today can make a difference in their community? All right, man, last question. By a show of hands, who lives in a major U.S. city? All right, if you want the Aspen Challenge to come to that major U.S. city, please talk to Katie. Wave, please, Katie. Or myself. As I mentioned, we launched, or Kara Minardi in the back. As I mentioned, we launched this program in a new city every year, and we're excited to announce next year we'll be going to Miami-Dade County. Oh, there we go. Woo, 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 woo. Nice, nice. So thank you again for attending today's session. Again, this was just a small sample of the wonderful work and inspiration that not only we provide them, but they provide us to continue to do, to continue creating this platform. So again, thank you for attending today's session, and the students will be here for the rest of the week. If you see them, stop them and say hello.